What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Microtopia. If you watched the last episode, you saw that we created the outline of our foundation here. In between episodes, I filled it all in, and I reset our grid. Have a look. So the ants will be born on this island here. Let me set a timer before I forget. So the ants are born here in these incubators. First thing they do is check to make sure that they are able to maintain the incubators. Next thing they do is they check to make sure this stockpile is not overflowing. And then if that isn't, and we need more green energy, we send ants in there, up to 10. Next thing it checks is, do we have any... let's make sure that this is set up, because it looks like they walked right past it. Then we check to see if we need any inventor supplies, because it looks like we're going to get quite a few of them. Next thing it checks is, okay, can we create any of the resources here? And we didn't show much of this, but, you know, not after the setup. Obligatory wave text. We didn't show much of this after we created it, but you know, this works flawlessly. It separates out all the distinct ores that we mine out of this one node. I also set up one on the other side, and we'll set this one up later once this one is completed. But anyway, so we have each of these distinct ores flowing on this island, and we are going to be able to smelt most of them here. So first we will do iron, and what it checks for is if the stockpile is not overflowing, if we have enough iron ore in the stockpile over there, and then it sends in the 2. And if you look here, we have our usual you know, net overflow preventer stockpile gate here, but we've added another one. And what does this stockpile say? Or gate. What does this stockpile gate say here? It says, if there is not at least one ore in the chamber, get out of there. Don't waste our time. So, the hope is that, you know, if anything, ants will just use this bigger loop. But the hope is that eventually we will get to a point where, you know, if this, well, and I mean, I guess it works that if this one is active, this one cannot be active, so they should never enter, I guess, is what I'm saying. If this one is active, this one cannot be active, because this one has to be greater than 0. So we've set up overflow prevention, sort of stops things from happening, wasting our ants' time in there, so that, you know, we can focus on these other I don't know what I'm trying to blank. Other processes, other things we need to produce. Excuse me. Anyway, we've done that in every single one of our production lines. Excuse me. We have glass second, copper third, and finally we have this random one producing. We're trying to get through any of the rubble that we have here. Really only want this one stockpile of rubble at any point, preferably. And then what else have we done? Well, we've set up a line for secondary goods here, such as screws, wire, fabric, and iron plates. The only one that we didn't do and what we can do together is light bulbs. You know, we only need one. We don't want to outproduce our smelters here, and we don't need to. We aren't even making you know, we aren't even making anything here other than iron ants and diggers, so we don't need anything crazy. We can utilize all this space as well for more things, you know, once we get more ants over here. and begin to do different things with them. But you know, we don't need the same ants on every island either. But we are going to try to utilize as much as we can. Anyway, what else have we done here? Well, we have continued our inter-island highway here. And eventually, we are going to send that all the way through and over this way. And when we've unlocked big enough bridges, we'll utilize that. But that's too much for this episode. But just know that we've left a space for our highway, along with, you know, any materials that we may want to drop off through our train. And I know I keep saying train, and we can't see it yet, right? Because we only have this, you know, slow, you know, 18-wheelers, I guess, you know, semi-trucks, and not a high-speed rail line, which is what it will be eventually when we have beacons and all that other stuff. But again, we're just planning for the future right now, and we are trying to you know, set ourselves up in a direction that we don't utilize space that could better be utilized for other things in the future. I mean, we've changed our gameplay style so much since the beginning of this playthrough, which is really, you know, was the goal of this playthrough. I really wanted to get onto the top of my game. But, you know, I really wanted to be, excuse me, become better than I had been. Not that I was, you know, considering myself bad or anything, but, you know, always looking to improve and stuff like that. So, that's the goal. And, you know, it just so happens that Microtopia is one of the vessels for that, and I'm grateful. So, thank you to Goblin Publishing, Gamera Games. Kudos for this one. You're real ones for this one. And we will take from here. I believe this is going to be glass, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. We'll just set this one to glass blocks. And we only need one. Like I said, we don't want to outpace whatever we're producing here, because this will also need to be sent to other islands. We want to keep our glass stockpile churning over here. It's already... we're producing so many light bulbs here, as this is our main production hub, right, of glass and light bulbs. Now we're gonna want to, you know, either send raw ore, which again I don't like, but you know, maybe it's for the best, since our production is already set up here. Our production line's already set up here, and this can easily be moved over here. Speaking of this island, we're producing our thumper, but we'll get to that in a minute. This is just kind of a review of what we've done, kind of episode, maybe. But we're doing a couple things. We just, you know, quickly created this little production line, and we'll keep going on that, so you can kind of see everything that we're doing and what our thought process is behind it, right? Okay. So we are creating light bulbs here, good. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to assign our initial stockpile gate to the stockpile of light bulbs. So we'll want to keep, you know, a minimum of 50 in there. And with that, we'll assign our first exit stockpile gate and say, you know, we don't want to keep more than 80. And this is based on basically, you know, the lifetime of any given ant that's going to be here. If you look, we have some ants that last up to 11 minutes, so if they make it here and they have, you know, 10 minutes and 30 seconds, each one is created in about 30 seconds. You know, that's, I don't know what, 21 crafts. So maybe we won't hit 80, but, you know, we might. Let's change it to 70, just because we don't want it to be overflowing. Again, I don't know if we'll be shipping light bulbs out from here. With all due luck available to us, we will not be. That main production hub over on that island would be better, but again, we don't want to be overutilizing the glass. We have a we don't. Oh, I hesitate to say we have a, you know, a limited supply, right, on this island, but we have a finite supply, I think, on this island. Once we get to the next island, that changes, and we'll be looking at doing something else. So, but you know, until then, you know, only the desert island and this jungle island produce glass and their glass products. So we need to utilize them efficiently and effectively because we need them for multiple things, such as LEDs, such as these other ants here. And if I'm looking at this, we have still quite a few ants, so we don't need it yet. But I'm going to put it in anyway because I'll explain why. Because and I think we can get rid of this. But I'm going to put this in because we eventually will run out of the ants that we need. And I want to avoid that. And what I'm talking about is that we are going to need more of these empty ones, empty pod workers. But what we're going to do is instead of just sending them right in, we're going to take a timer gate and we are going to set that timer gate for 1 minute. Okay, and if it can't go there, then it's going to come back. And why are we doing it like this? Because if we where's our light bulb stash? Over here? Yes, I really like this centralized depot. I think it's very nice. Easy to find everything, right? If we send continuous ants here, right, we're going to have a bazillion of these pod workers. We really do not need that many. So if we send one in here every minute, that means every 2 minutes we'll have one being created in each of these, right? And if we take 60 minutes and divide it by 2, that means that we'll have about 30 in 1 hour of each, if I'm not mistaken. 2 minutes to create one, 2 minutes to create one. So basically every other minute we will be creating a yellow or a green pod worker. And if we have 30 an hour, and each one takes 5, that means we can still create up to 6 guides per hour. And at the moment, with our current fastest, if we hit every one of these perfectly to keep the longest one in there, and the rest pass by these checks every 10 minutes, and they enter in the perfect time frame, then the most we can get is 5. So we will still be producing too many at 1 minute, but you know, it won't be as crazy as before, and we don't have to worry about pumping our numbers up here to keep this at 400 max population, because I think 300 is perfect for us right now. Sorry to be looping like that, but that's just how I play this game. We're also doing a good job of creating space on this island to add more projects to the mix. We're still looking to keep some concrete on this island because we want to terraform this whole thing. We want to make it all concrete. And there's one last thing that we need to talk about, I think, for now. And that's this little claw machine that we have going on. It just kind of grabs from any of these. I really love the music on this level, on this island. And once we get through all this, you know, it will all become filled in. You know, this is going to be our working garden for a while. Eventually we'll move on to these and out here, and then clear this path to get onto another island. But you know, until then, let's play this. We still have 15 minutes, so that was a good long intro there. And we have about 15 minutes on this, and let's see what we can do. What it does, anyway. It looks like we need a few before we get crazy here. We will need a few of these, so we'll do that, because we don't want them to be walking too far. I think that one will be okay. And then one here. will be good. And then one here will be okay. Perfect. And it looks like we're already working. Good for us. Are we working here? Yep. We're working here. We're getting more digger ants to go and continue the mining. I like it. Eventually, as these fill up and stop being used as frequently, these will become more used. But again, we don't need everything right away. We're still, we're still more than capable of bringing resources in. We can stop bringing some of them in though, and we'll double check everything. You know, we don't want to break our. Oh, this is going to be. Are they not going to go in there? They're not going to go in there for some reason. It's fine. Let's try that. Why don't they like to go in there? Probably because there was something there. Oops. Try it again. There we go. Much better. Alright. Now we can really begin to pump out our science without sacrificing too many of these ants to not getting gines, which is nice. And, you know, eventually we'll get more and more of these large ants. I mean, their primary purpose right now is to get all this stuff out. And does this not have a... This does not have. Okay, so that's one issue. Then we can change that up right there. This is perfect. So it's always good to watch it, because we'll need to get another one of these. Do we have enough? Should have enough. And oh no, this is pumping them out into here. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, hold on. Excuse me. That was obligatory wife call. This island is going to help us jumpstart a lot of things, I feel like. We're about to get a lot of ants, especially once these stop needing to be in here. And oh, I just realized we didn't do any of the work. I thought we were done. I thought we were done with these. We didn't do any of the legwork here. So we'll do that all together, I guess. You know the deal. We don't need too many of these. 30 is fine. Less than 30. We'll do less than 30. And from here. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We're only going to keep, we'll keep a small margin in there then. Say 55. Less than 50, and more than 55. If this is greater than, and let's say 30, or let's say, yeah, let's say 50. We can keep 50 as a round number because we want to have enough in here to make these workers before we make screws. So these workers before these workers. It sounds a little backwards because we need these workers to mine the stuff to get the stuff to make these workers, but we can always bring iron in. You know, we can always bring other stuff in. Or, you know, we can always bring finished goods like screws, I guess, you know. Nope. Obligatory wife text number 2. Hang on. Sorry about that. We're back. Any of you with wives know it's, you're always busy. So, even when you think you have free time, you don't have free time. But you gotta make it where you can. So we'll do the same thing. What is this? This is wire. This we can make a lot of, but, you know, we don't need it here. Less than... Maybe we can export the copper. We'll have our main copper smelteries over there on the desert island. This can be more specialized just for certain things here. Particular making diodes, things of that nature. We will need them for these guys that are just dying here. We have one more building to make over here, but until then, we won't be able to make it. I don't think we have enough. I don't think we have enough goods to make it anyway. This will be here. Make sure that we have greater than 0, which we don't. 50. This is greater than 55. 2 more. Let's just fill in all the gates. Yeah, this is why, you know, we've done this, we've seen this a lot, so we don't need to do all this all over again, so I didn't do that here, or I did all this off camera. So if we have less than, say, 50, because we're going to want to send out drones from here, so we are going to want to be making this. If this has less than, yeah, let's say, you know, 0. If this is greater than 0, keep it coming. And if this is greater than 70, because we want to have a decent stockpile of this to continue to create stuff. This we don't need too many of. You know, we can say if there's less than, if there's less than, you know, 20, go in there. If there's more than 35, get out of there. And if this says, you know, greater than 0, or no, what is it, 50? Yeah. Okay. This is light bulbs, so this will be here. This is greater than... I mean, let's just say 10 for now, because, again, we don't need too much. And this will be greater, this will be... And this one, I guess, doesn't need it then. Because we're always going to be having so much in there. Yeah, that's fine. So it worked out. It worked out. These ones would need it, but... I guess we could change that. Let's do it that way then. I'm just thinking out loud now. So this is what, copper? So this is... if this becomes less than 1, get out of there. This one will not, so we'll need that. And this one, we'll do the same. If this becomes... Oh no, this one needs a... Yeah, this one needs a maximum amount. This one will never become 0. Okay, perfect. Good. You love to see it. And so far, this little bit of a colony looks like it's doing very well. We gotta watch this, make sure we don't lose ants. It looks like we're gonna lose ants here, so let's make sure that one of these guys gets out of here and into there. 'Cause I think we might have too many jobs. We might have too many jobs for what we can sustain right now. The problem always comes down to drones. Do you have a big enough air force? Okay. So this looks like it was finished. Very happy. Let's do that. That's much nicer. Okay. Yeah, like I said, these are coming along nicely. We have an insane stockpile of iron, but totally necessary to achieve our goal of completely utilizing our stockpiles and stuff here. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff we need to watch. What's our maximum here? 375? Oh, yeah. That's never gonna happen. Let's change this to 330. Okay. Our ants have come down way lower, which is where we want to see them. Our population is very nice. Now if we dip down between below 400 max population, it isn't so dire. Leave that. What's happening here? Everything's getting stuck here. Aha. Well, that's a good thing we saw that. Could have caused quite a few problems. Oh. Thankfully, we only caused one problem. Got a few minutes. We got a few minutes. It's okay. These workers are all set to come online and do these jobs before they get over there, which is fine. You know, we make sure, as long as we have a steady inflow of small workers, that it's always set up. Sorry, excuse me. It's terrible. It's just getting 10 workers in there is going to be a challenge. So maybe we'll poach this next one. Still has some time. Send you here. Nuptial flight has flown. Looks like all 3 of our towers were in full use, so now we have 12 guy in science, which is awesome. Just a few, these 2 away from unlocking our next technology, which I'm super excited for. We simply do not have enough ants here yet. Let's get this really quick. What are we gonna get? We could get large diggers. We could get pod worker 3s. But I think we need to get, oh no, we need to get this, don't we? We need to get this, and that will be one of the next things we build here on this island. Is some energy colliders. And then once we have the 3rd tier of energy pods, we will begin, and once we've unlocked pod worker 3s will begin to produce pod workers on this island. Then and only then. And we'll switch our entire economy on this island over to producing pod workers. Okay, so small diggers, yeah, we're well aware. Only 28 small workers died. 3 regular workers, 1 drone. 37 inventor ants. Minimal amount of iron workers, and the pod workers, they're all just passing away on this island over here until they can... okay, looks like they found their equilibrium. And that's our timer for this episode. This was, more of a informational episode, but we did get a lot done. We have made sure that this colony is working perfect, in harmony with itself. It's going to begin to create a lot of things once it gets all the hiccups out of the way, like forgetting to add, some lines in, right? But, for the most part, we're doing great. And I'm grateful for you all. Thanks for watching. And we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.